So part of my job is to get all of you ready for the workforce. And I know that many of you are already in the workforce. If you're like me, you've been working since you were 15. I started out washing dishes at the back of the Bagel Basket, a restaurant at Herndon and Blackstone that no longer exists. But part of that, getting ready for the workforce, it's a humbling experience. And I kid you not, it's brought me to my knees. And at various points in my life, if it wasn't for my family, I would have quit. Just like, you know, right? Like, I'm doing my own thing, screw it, I'm out of here. But that's work, that's humbling. And the other side of the coin is that's actually very beneficial to us, to live in service of others and to put ourselves second. And so I'm going to sometimes have expectations for all of you. And your job is simultaneously not to know, right? Like, I don't know. So that I saw some people as I went around and I looked at your work, there was kind of a feeling, just a feeling I got like, oh my God, he's checking my work, you know, and maybe even a little bit like, why are you holding me accountable? I asked you to do something, do it. And if it's the workplace, you don't do it, you're fired. That's it. And then you go out and you're back in the world and you figure it out. You're back in the rinse cycle. So part of my job is to ask things of you and then to hold you accountable. And I'm going to walk around and I'll look at your work. How many people are like totally on board with that? Like, sounds good, get me ready for the workforce. How many people is a little bit weird for you when I was walking around being like, well, why didn't you do it? Nobody? All right, sweet. It's just my perception. So I just wanted to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from when I do that, because it's coming from a place of wanting the best for all of you and wanting you to get this material and wanting to see where you're at with the material. And so if you don't get it right, that's totally okay, because your job is, I don't know. And my job is to look to see, do you know this yet? And not to just barrel forward if you don't get it. And so being able to take a situation, whether it's movie rentals or dog kennel, and then just start to find information that's related together and put it into those piles, that's a really important part of understanding databases and working with databases. And that's the first thing you have to know before you even know SQL, which is what we're going to be focusing on in this class, structured query language. So we're not going to be focusing on MySQL, we're not going to be focusing on SQL Server, we're not going to be focusing on Oracle. We're going to be focusing on the language, which is an industry-wide standard structured query language, SQL. And that's a language that no matter what database system you use, it's got 90% portability. I just made that statistic up, right? But it's like, you know, each Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, Microsoft Access, they'll have slight variations in certain things. But if you understand SQL, it's like you're going to be able to go into each of those and be able to start working. And understanding how to build tables and relate, you know, group-related information together, that's the first step. Cool? All right. There seemed like there was something else I wanted to say about that. I've got a little bit of a cold. I'm a little bit hammered. I didn't get a full night's sleep last night. Hammered in the sense of didn't get a full night's sleep. So I'm not 100% on point as I was on Monday. My kids came back from visiting their aunt and uncle, and my daughter had a runny nose. No, I've got it. All right. Let me see if I can remember the other thing I wanted to say to you. Oh, so when you're given instructions, right, as a student, as an employee, it's really important that you listen to those instructions and then do those instructions. So I walked around and I said, you know, the instructions were a minimum of 3 tables. 3 tables. I want to see at least 3 tables, and some people only had 1 table. So maybe you didn't have enough time, but that instruction was 3 tables. And so really tune in to instructions. Just like when you meet somebody, you should tune into their name. When a supervisor, whether it's a teacher or a boss, is giving you a task, you really have to focus on the instructions. And then clarify the instructions if you have any questions. It's one of those points where it's like, I really need to tune in right now. Somebody says their name, I need to tune in right now. Somebody gives you instructions, a supervisor gives you instructions, tune in right now. And then that's going to help you do better in life. Because people will be like, wow, that person really listens. They're really clarifying what I wanted. That employee's great. Yeah? It's good advice. Anybody feel different, contrary perspective, or is this like good advice?
It's good advice.
I think it's good advice. So really pay attention to the instructions. All right, in the next video, we're going to do dog kennel. And then in the video after that, we'll do video rental database again.